Welcome back. This week we talk about Trump's assassination attempt. We talk about Gypsy Rose, how she's expecting a child. We talk about the Hawk Tuah girl and how the internet's trying to catch her fame in a bottle. We talk about Alec Baldwin and the case that he was involved in is being dropped. We also talk about Karl Malone, a former NBA player, and his estranged son. And then on this week's Am I the Asshole, are you rude if you don't give up your seat to honeymooners? We'd like to thank Anna Pacino, Mark Stadler, Kylie Gangwish, Colby Jordan, Chantel Stadler, Kevin Garahan, Andres Vaez the God, Colton Zamersla, Pantera Girl, and Professor Rusty J. Lugnuts. Hope you enjoy.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm on it.
Hey, freak show! You're going nowhere!
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Welcome back, kids and coaches, to another episode of West of Nowhere. I'm a stupid ginger fuck.
And I'm Shane.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy how earlier this week I thought that was going to be the biggest thing we talk about on this episode, but
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I have been proved wrong. So, yeah, in case you missed it, Richard Simmons died, so that's probably the biggest thing we got to talk about today.
So did Shannon Doherty.
And Shelley Duvall, the wife from The Shining. I can't remember her last name.
I can't remember her name either, yeah.
But yeah, I thought there was somebody else. Maybe not. I don't know. But that is great. That is like a weird trifecta. And it's just like very opposite ends of the spectrum of like,
yeah.
she's in like a lot of, I don't know, not like cult classic movies, because she also played Olive Oil in the Popeye movie
did.
with Robin Williams.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and then obviously Richard Simmons, known for his home workout, like jazzercise videos or whatever the hell they were.
Yeah.
And then Shannon Doherty, 90210. You know, that
Yeah, she was also in
there's another big
Charmed.
Yeah. So, pretty wild stuff. And then, you know, obviously somebody took a crack shot at the old Donald Trump, so that's probably the biggest one. But before we get to that, this is normally where I would start reading comments, but there are none. And we even had a delayed absence, and there's still none, so I don't know what we said to piss you guys off last week, but Shane apologizes.
I do, I apologize.
And also, if you are confused why I introduced myself that way, the short story is that I irritated a guy by answering his question at work, and apparently that wasn't good enough. So he asked me where one of the managers was, and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, I just saw him. And I said, well, he moves. And meanwhile, I'm like trying to do my job. So like, yeah. I'm not the secretary. I don't keep tabs on everybody, where everybody is at. But because the person he was looking for happens to be my brother, means that I know where he's at. But he didn't even know that, because as soon as he found that out, then he got even more mad because he does not like him. So it's pretty cool. And our work was on lockdown on Friday, so that was because of that guy. So that's pretty exciting stuff. Little did I know my fun story would get outdone the very next day. Whatever. So, for those of you who don't know, the former president campaigning in Pennsylvania, and there was gunshots, and his, security detail kind of swarmed him, and then he stands up and he's bleeding out from the ear. So, that's like a few inches away from like really shocking a lot of people, because the last time a president's head got shot was when we had film reel cameras, and the resolution not the greatest. But like the amount of high definition cameras that are at a Donald Trump rally, like, can you imagine how shocking that could be for everybody to see?
Yeah.
And oh, go ahead.
I kept seeing a lot of posts that it was fake.
Yeah.
Like because like someone said something about it, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I tried to look it up, and there's just a bunch of stuff about how it's not true.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, maybe it was just a hoax. And then I went on with my weekend.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing: is I don't think there's a couple different thought processes here. Yeah, is that
Okay.
Donald Trump is probably the most egotistical person we've seen in the spotlight for a long time.
Yeah.
Very into himself, 100%. And something like that where you don't get actually killed and you maybe get clipped in the arm like Reagan did or whatever,
Yeah.
only can kind of bolster the public perception of you or entrench further your core base, and maybe sway
definitely.
some middle people to your, like, oh, okay, well, they're trying to kill this guy now. Like, that's kind of fucked up. So, is it out of the realm of possibility that somebody could stage this kind of thing? No. I will say that the thought process of how it was done is skewed, because I saw a lot of people that, oh, well, when the Secret Service tackled him and they, like, somebody cut his ear while he was hunched down. But I've seen a couple really good because there's photographers right at the bottom of this, like right in front of him.
Yeah.
And you hear the gunshots, and then he kind of like turns and touches his ear, and there's a like one shot where you can see blood already on his hand.
Yeah.
So he definitely got shot. And I feel like if you were going to stage something where a person actually shoots you, it would not be a headshot that they would go for. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it was probably not staged in that manner. But the flip side of that is that it is going to do exactly what it would have done had it been staged and nobody found out, which is really sure up the line, you know, where people are digging in, and I think that's not good. I think it probably would have been worse had he actually gotten killed, because we saw how good his fan base is with taking a loss, so I can only imagine if he actually died how it would go down. But then there's also maybe they just like, all right, well, that's maybe it's time to step back, which that's kind of what I feel like a lot of people should already be doing, but they're not going to, because this is where our society is, where we can't take a moment like this and go, yeah, maybe we're being a little too crazy. We ramp up. So that's part of like the thing that I think bothers me most about it is like, okay, well, now where do we go from here? Because it's not like anybody's gonna go, all right, fuck, my bad. Like, you know what, guys, he's not gonna go, all right, maybe I've said some stuff that has really gotten people in a tizzy. I've seen a lot of things on Facebook this last couple weeks about, I don't know if you've seen it, but the Project 2025 stuff.
Yeah.
And whether or not he endorses it, which realistically, their goal is going to be aligned with any Republican candidate that would take their money, essentially. So, is it just him? No. It could be any member of Congress that believes in it too. So, there's a lot of people that are being reactive in how they're taking in that kind of information, and I think that stuff like that is probably what is helping, further divide people in this moment, but
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, fuck. Well, he's winning now. Like, that picture, I gotta find it now. There's a picture of him shortly after, with his, like, fist in the air. He's bleeding from the ear, and there's an American flag behind him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found an article that said that there was 2 people injured and 1 person deceased. So, I mean, I think the shooting is definitely real.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody, oh, man. Yeah, hold on. Let me get this picture pulled up here. Like,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Yeah, so he's gonna win. Like, you don't get a picture like that and not benefit from it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had seen that, because the shooter was on a building. I don't know how far away from the stage it was, but far enough to where apparently the Secret Service weren't the ones that found out that the shooter was there. There was people in the crowd telling them about it.
Wow.
Which is, you know, when you hear about security, like, Secret Service details and how, like, intense they are and how
Yeah.
they'll, like, block off sections of cities and stuff, like, they'll comb through buildings a month in advance and, like, do all this crazy shit. And
Yeah.
then something like this happens where the crowd's like, hey, there's a guy on top of that building over there. And then they don't even do anything until the shot gets fired. Like, that's kind of wild to me. So, and it's not like the best of the best Secret Service people are only with the active president. Like, it's a huge unit. Like, it is, and it's ever circulating, right? Because they have new people, because obviously you can only be a certain age to be Secret Service because you're ineffective at a certain point. But, like, the fact that they missed that guy is kind of wild to me. And he was on a roof, so it's like, even if they had, like, a drone or something monitoring the venue, they would have seen him. Because it was like an aluminum outbuilding. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's like the corrugated aluminum buildings, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
He was just on top of it, like on the roof. So, yeah. And I see a lot of people that are like saying, you know, obviously that there's a lot of people that are mad that the guy missed.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Which makes sense. It and like I said, it's not hard for me to believe that somebody would take a shot at him, because obviously he's a very confrontational figure, and the last 8+ years have been just him irritating a very specific group of the population.
Yeah.
And, you know, things like that can only go for so long before people actually start to react to it, especially in this way. So, I don't know. I'm not really shocked by the fact that it happened. A little shocked that it happened this late in the game. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more things like this happen. But I'm definitely not in the, like, I don't think it's good. Like, I don't know. I understand where people are coming from, where they would like it to have happened, but thinking long term, thinking about the future, and it doesn't really bode well for anybody for that kind of thing to happen. Especially where I think politics, they're so, like, I don't know, it's so egregious when you have a conversation with somebody and they're just belligerent about it. And I'm pretty outspoken, obviously, about my political beliefs, but I think that there's a way to have conversations without screaming at people.
Yeah, definitely.
And things like this don't work for that kind of dialogue. So people are just going to get more and more intense about how they talk to people. People are going to be more reactive and more instigate more. And I saw immediately a guy that I worked with in Fallon, and who hilariously speaks about how anti-government he is, and then is still in the Navy, which always cracks me up. He's like one of these hardcore wants to be a libertarian but supports Trump because it's not a Democrat kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe after the major news outlets started picking up the story, he's got a picture of it's like a cartoon graphic of Trump with both middle fingers up saying "you missed," and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. And this picture that I showed you, already on t-shirts, which makes sense. If I was a grifter, I'd paint the fuck out of this thing for people, but not gonna. So
yeah,
if it happened to literally anybody else, it would be like, whoa. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, if this was RFK, first of all, how much worse luck do you have to have? But second of all, if you imagine an RFK getting shot at and or a Kennedy getting shot at and living, and then posing this picture, you know what I mean? It would just be whoa, fuck. And then maybe the third party would have a chance, but what were you gonna say?
No, it's just weird that the sentiment is so drastic. The people on his side are like, oh, he survived the gunshot, that now he should definitely be president.
God deflected the bullet. It was a big one.
Yeah, exactly. What?
Yeah, no, that's a real comment people made. So.
Oh man. And two, Trump is not a great person. It's been proven time and time again. He doesn't make the best personal life choices.
Yeah.
But to wish him dead is insane to me as well.
Yeah. There's definitely been moments in this election cycle where I was like, I mean, if they both have heart attacks and both have don't get to run,
yeah,
would that be the worst thing? Probably not. But I'm also not active. Somebody should do something about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we were talking about it before we started recording, but the real problem is, and it won't ever get changed because we don't have enough people. The people that we need to pass the law through will just shoot it down.
Yeah.
Well, there needs to be, we were talking about, you need to be able to run for president maybe 5 years earlier, and you cannot be in the presidency past the age of 60. If you turn 61 in the presidency, you're out. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then the fucking VP takes over, however they do it, however they figured it out, and then the Senate and the House both have to have term limits.
Yeah.
You should not be able to fucking just be in the Senate for 50 fucking years.
Yeah.
What you thought was right in the country 50 years ago is not right anymore. It's been proven multiple times that how we thought as a country 50 years ago was so egregiously wrong.
Yeah.
And those are the people still fucking keeping the country quote unquote safe.
Yeah. Yeah, the decision makers in that. Yeah, it's crazy because you got Mitch McConnell, where he's just locking up, just straight up freezing in the middle of a speech, and you're like, okay. Can this be the time where we're like, all right, man? But like you said, it's those people that would make the decision, or it goes to they have to formulate the law, and then maybe it gets voted. I don't know how something like that would get voted on. I can't remember specifically, because if it's for Congress, I don't think they vote on it themselves. I think it might be a population vote, but. One of the things that it makes me think of is the House of Representatives in my home state. I learned this in my political science class. I don't know if it's changed since, but in Nebraska, the House of Representatives made as a member of the House of Representatives, you received $10,000 a year for it, and that's kind of it. Now, that was instituted a long time ago.
Yeah.
And over the years, they've tried to raise that money to kind of keep up with the cost of living or like different things. Like it should at least scale up with from when it was started to now, as far as like what the dollar is worth, right? Comparatively. Right. But the problem is that how they have to word it is in a percentage, and when it gets put to a vote, it gets put on the ballot. And so it's like, approve a 300% increase raise for the House of Representatives, even though that's not that much, technically. Yeah. Like, people see that and they're like, what the fuck? These politicians just, you know what I mean? And so I think part of the problem is that a lot of people will go in and vote on stuff that they don't really, well, I mean, it happens already, but people vote on stuff that they don't necessarily look into or understand or anything like that, and yeah, it's frustrating. So anyway, you want to move on to some fun news?
Yeah, let's move on.
Our girl, old Gypsy Rose, is pregnant, so pretty exciting.
Oh, speaking of which, she in fact has a documentary.
Yeah.
I seen that the other day. I was like, dude, I called it.
Like, is it on Lifetime? I can't remember.
I think it's on. I mean, I think it might be Lifetime, but it's on Hulu.
Okay, have to check it out. But yeah. So, you know, I with this, I don't really care so much about her her in the spotlight is one thing, but then like the way she's behaving, I think, is interesting because she has made multiple registries for this baby.
Oh no! I mean,
with the same shit on all of it, and it's like, all right, where's that Lifetime money? Like, you can't buy your own baby shit. You know what I mean? And so people are like, who their hearts are probably in the right place, going, oh, she's like this victim, and now she's adult and out of prison and wants to restart her life, and I want to help. Do with your money what you will, but it is just kind of interesting to see, like, oh, okay, yeah. No, there's definitely probably no other mothers in the country that could, maybe she donates and stuff, I don't know, but it is kind of interesting. And I seen some people, well, no, not only did I see it, I shared it on Facebook. Her baby has the chance to do the funniest thing ever, which accurate. You know, because she had her mom killed, and you know, there's a whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh God, complete the circle,
yeah.
Huh?
So, not that I support or condone it, but it would be pretty funny if it did happen that way. Maybe ironic is probably the better word, but
yeah, I was gonna say.
Anyway, so there's that, and then so I don't really know if you're how into it you are, but did you listen to Eminem's new album?
I have not listened to it yet. No.
All right. Well, Eminem's got a new album out, "The Death of Slim Shady," the coup de grace, which is I listened to it. Pretty exciting stuff because he kind of gets in his like old style a little bit more.
Yeah.
And because it's like it's a conceptual album, so he's fighting with Slim Shady essentially throughout the whole thing.
Okay.
So there's like little skits where it's him talking to himself, but it's like he's obviously doing little voice, like a different voice for one. So he's like having this argument when like trying to kill Slim Shady, and as he's like running amok and like causing problems for Eminem throughout this album, he's, you know, trying to get him canceled. He's saying these crazy shit, like he's still making fun of Christopher Reeves. He's like just doing all this like ridiculous shit, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
But it's pretty fun. The reactions I think have been pretty funny. Just people. First of all, people who don't know that it's like a concept album, where they don't understand that he's like, this is a character that he's playing, and the character and like the whole album is essentially like an audio book of sorts. Like, it's not real. He's not saying things that he genuinely believes. He's, painting a picture, essentially. And people are like, when are we gonna fucking cancel Eminem? Like, it's gone too far. And they're like taking like little like sections. It's crazy when people soundbite things, like long form interviews. They'll soundbite something and be like, "This guy said he hates blah blah blah." Like that's weird enough. But when you take a 3-minute song and you take 15 seconds out of it, and this is what he said. Like, that's even weirder to me. Like,
yeah,
the song's not that long. It's 3.5 minutes, man. You can't listen to it to formulate an actual opinion. But media literacy is not as good as one would hope, because people are very, I don't know. I don't think it's a generational thing either. Like, I think obviously there's people all across the board that struggle with identifying themes or subtext and things like this in all kinds of things. And when you try to do conceptual things, people get a little confused and
they do
miss the point. But it's really good. Jelly Roll's on it, which is pretty. So there's 2 songs on this album that make you feel your feelings, and that song with Jelly Roll is one of them. But highly recommend. Listen to it in order so you don't get confused. But
yeah, I keep seeing a bunch of like videos of like quote unquote Gen Zers talking about let's cancel Eminem.
Yeah.
And then I seen like a video of a dude who I don't know what you call it. I guess they duet it or some shit on I don't know what it's called on Twitter or on TikTok when they do it. But this dude was like, let's cancel Eminem, and then it cut to this guy and he was like, you can't cancel Eminem. Like, he'll just laugh at you. He'll just watch your video about how you're going to cancel him, and then he'll just make another album about how you're going to cancel him, and then make millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, and it, like, I don't know. I think this is kind of part and parcel to what I've always said about people who are scared of cancel culture. Is like, if you let it affect your life, then yeah, it's going to fuck with you. But, like, there's people who do crazy shit and just refuse to let it like affect them. Eminem's one of those people. Like, he is controversial. He does instigate a lot of people, but then also so does South Park. So like all of these things that people do, and they're still around. South Park's been on for 20 some years now. It's like, dude. Like, at what point do you go, oh, maybe this is in my head a little bit? Like, people who are getting canceled and like disappear, there's probably a bigger reason for it. It's probably not just he said a bad word on TV or whatever the fuck. It's like maybe people realized he was a shit person and didn't want to give him money anymore. I don't know. R. Kelly. Yeah.
Oh man. I've seen like a super huge uptick on Call of Duty of people with Diddy gamer tags.
Dude. Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's funny you said that, because I had typed in Eminem into Google, and then there's this picture of him, and then Diddy's right back here. So it's just funny that you said that, because Diddy's right there.
Nice. Yeah.
He also has a few jabs at him in a couple of the songs. There's one where he's like, he spells out rapper R-A-P-E-R. I got essays, and it's like S-A, as in sexual assaults. And then he's like, oh, you didn't just spell rapper without a P, did he?
Oh.
Like, this whole fucking, I was like, God damn, all right, that's crispy.
Nice.
Yeah, but couldn't have happened to a worse guy again. But yeah. Oh, I did want to talk about this this thing. Your girl, your old Hawk Tuah bestie, your favorite
girl,
person.
Yeah.
So, couple things with her. Number one, she's getting her money and like doing promotional things and like hosting parties. This is like a low-level influencer thing that I've seen happen a lot. Actually, a friend of mine, dude I was in boot camp with, used to do this.
Yeah.
He got like, he was big on, I think he was just making a lot of like Instagram videos, and like
Okay.
got to a point where he did a video with Jinx Maze, this porn star. Like at a point, I was like, oh shit. And so he was like hosting these parties. So this is kind of like the same level of like, not really a super duper celebrity, but like you kind of got some notoriety enough to where people think you're entertaining and whatever. So she's like hosting these smaller events, and people are like, oh, fucking sick of this girl. But also, my thought is that in this day and age, when you can make quick money like this, why the fuck wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, if you get put into a position, if somebody interviews me and it goes viral, well, maybe not me. I'm not good at capitalizing on things like that, but like normal people should capitalize it, even if you think it's, you know, stupid or whatever, cringy, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily knock her for taking money that's coming at her. That's fine. The other part of it is that there are girls trying to replicate the success of the authentic original video.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like copycat wannabe, like this kind of, like she's created a trend of in of itself. Like it's one thing where people are like, because on any kind of video service, I guess you can take the audio and you basically like lip sync to it, whatever, and apply it to whatever thing you're thinking about. But that's one thing. But there's people literally like trying to do their own version and not doing well, which is pretty funny to me, and it makes me think of the movie. Have you seen We Have a Ghost? It's got Anthony Mackie in it, and they like move into a haunted house. Oh, and the dude from Stranger Things, the sheriff guy, he plays the ghost. But they move into this house and they find out they had a ghost, and then one of the kids like records it and puts it on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
And that like people like immediately call it fake, and then like they do more and more videos. And then there's this scene in the movie, or there's a couple different ones, where like the ghost will do something, the kid will record it and put it online, and then it follows like internet trends of how the internet responds to like viral videos.
Yeah.
And like that goes through the cycles of like people who think the ghost is being mistreated in some way or held hostage or something like that. There's people who fall in love with the ghost. There's like this whole fucking like loop, and it was like such a well done like commentary on the trending viral videos. Like I just haven't seen anybody do that kind of thing in a movie, and the movie itself was not super duper popular, and it kind of bums me out because I think that moment is really like, or that idea in that movie is really cool, because that is what happens. Like you can watch it happen in real time. Something happens, and then people do all these challenges or trending copycat things, and yeah. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say about this is that the dudes who originally interviewed this girl, the Hawk Tuah girl, are like fucking pissed that she's getting all the attention and they didn't get any of it. And that's kind of like, well, you know, you as the interviewee or interviewer need to make sure your interviewee doesn't upstage you, because that's what fucking happens. Like, you, first of all, you put the fucking video out. Second of all, like, you should have been a better interviewer to where you were more involved in it. But she clearly just a genuine, like, has a good sense of humor and can like talk normal, like has the ability to put on a show. and you didn't do your best to stay like keep up with her, and now you're mad that she outran you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So pretty exciting stuff. Did you know that Jensen Ackles was supposed to be in that Rust movie with Alec Baldwin, or is in that Rust movie with Alec Baldwin?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
I always find out shit way later. I just found out he was supposed to be in that movie. They found live bullets in his bandolier, which is not good. Yeah. So, also, kind of follow up. Yeah, the Rust case against Alec Baldwin has been dismissed because prosecutors had withheld evidence. So, basically, he just gets thrown out. But I don't know if that instigates like a double jeopardy thing. Like, can they retry him? I don't know. I don't know enough legalese to know. Kylie, if you're listening, tell us. He's our legal expert. Okay, that's all I got.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a story that I thought was brand new, but it turns out once I started digging, it's like a year old. But still, it's a crazy story, and I'm gonna talk about it anyway. Karl Malone. If you don't know who that is, for people listening, he was a former NBA player. He played his first 18 seasons with the Utah Jazz, and then he played with the... Yeah, I think he just played with the Jazz the whole time. But he's like huge. He's considered one of the best power forwards in NBA history. Well, a year ago now, he came out and said that his son was Demetrius Bell. Demetrius Bell is an NFL player for the Buffalo Bills. Well, Karl Malone had a baby with Demetrius Bell's mom, who was then 13. Karl Malone was 22. And it says, from what I can find, it says he initially denied paternity, fearing imprisonment, and refusing to pay $125 a week in child support, even though
he's a fucking NBA player.
He made $101 million. $101 million throughout his entire NBA career.
Yeah.
So $125 a week is nothing.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's wild to me. And it makes me think, why is there not... The statute of limitations on that is obviously far gone.
Yeah.
But you'd think with as often as like this shit keeps coming out, there would be something put into place to stop this. Because essentially he just had to deny it until it was too far gone. And then he was like, oh, well, you know what? I feel bad. That's my son.
Yeah.
Kind of fucking shitty.
$125 a week is only $6,500 for the year.
Yeah. So nothing.
That's fucking wild. So in that, like, which part are you saying should be, like the statute of limitations should be different, like on?
Well, because that's like, I mean, I know it's not sexual assault, obviously.
Yes.
Maybe it is.
Yeah. But it's obviously like statutory, right?
Yeah. There should be some kind of repercussions for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that would be, because it just seems crazy now to do it, especially as much as we talk about how people can change.
Yeah.
Or we have talked about that a bunch. You know, people can change. Like what you did fucking 10 years ago shouldn't define who you are now. But
if your actions led to this kind of thing, like, you should be held accountable for that. Like, you can't pay $6,500 a year for child support when you make millions of dollars. Yeah. I didn't bring it up, but I have a story that I had pulled up, which is kind of similar. A pastor in 1982 had relations with a 12-year-old girl, and he said that she came on to him, and he was 21. So
nice.
So
yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, like pretty fucked up. So yeah. I it's like those kinds of things where I wonder if that would be Malone's defense too, because when did that happen? In like the 80s? He
was 22. It had to have happened in
84, it says.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what you do about that, but it just seems crazy. He just gets to go, oh, yeah, I'm just kind of a shitty dad.
Yeah, so he was drafted in 1985. So, yeah, that's wild. And gross.
All right. Well, if you made it this far, stop what you're doing. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Do those things. We appreciate you making it this far. This week's Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for offering to sell my seats to honeymooners? I was flying from Melbourne to Dubai. I paid for a premium economy seat because it was a 14-hour flight and I wanted to be comfortable. The person in the next seat had been upgraded as they asked if I could switch seats with their wife as they had just gotten married and were on their honeymoon. I congratulated him on his nuptials and asked where his wife was sitting. He pointed towards the back of the plane in economy. I declined to switch seats.
That's a fucking nice little movie you tried to pull there.
Oh man. He asked if there was any way to convince me. I offered to switch if he paid the difference between the seats. It is a goodly amount.
Yeah.
I had been lucky to get mine at a decent price, and it would only have cost him 1,000 Australian dollars. Okay.
Right.
He said that they were on a budget for their honeymoon. I congratulated him once again and put in my earbuds. He muttered that I was an asshole, and I said he was a prick for taking the upgrade instead of either sitting with his wife or giving it to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I told my
What the fuck?
I told my wife about the incident, and she thinks I should have done the nice thing. For the record, she hates flying in economy, so I know she would have not switched.
Yeah.
I like how he was like, my wife says an asshole, but she wouldn't have done it neither.
Yeah. That is wild. Man. No, I don't think this guy was an asshole at all. Like, you don't have to give your seat up to anybody at all, especially if you paid for it. And it's not a situation where it's like somehow that guy ended up in the better class. And I don't know how you fuck that up. Like, I really don't. I'm just trying to figure out, like, in my brain. Every time I bought tickets, I mean, I've definitely never bought multiple tickets at the same, like, for multiple seats, but, like, I guarantee you have to press some extra buttons to get put in business class versus economy. Like,
Yeah. So, I mean, I've flown a decent amount, man. Unless it was, like, something crazy, I'm not giving up a seat to move back into the shittier section because I paid to be comfortable.
Yeah.
14 hours on a fucking airplane is ungodly, dude. Like,
yeah.
there's no way.
Yeah. It is. And, like, didn't want to pay to split the difference, which that would have been, like, that is a fair compromise.
Yeah.
But, we were trying to save money for your honeymoon. Why did you buy one business class ticket then? Like, what the fuck? I'm so confused by this. It's just such a weird situation to put yourself in.
I kind of think they weren't actually on their honeymoon.
Oh.
I think he like I think they like conspired.
Oh.
They're like, here, look, I'll buy a more expensive ticket, and then whenever we get on the plane, I'll plead our like sob story.
Yeah.
And then get us both into a good seat.
That is, yeah. So you get 2 business class tickets for the price of 1, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense. Weird. People are fucking weird. They try to pull over on. I don't know.
Well, I always just assume it's a sob story, man. Like, for better or worse, man. Like, people watch any show ever, and every show you watch that's like reality based at all, the people who are competing all have this fucking sob story. My cousin's mom's dog got ran over, and this is the only way that we can save the money up to get him in surgery. Like, everybody has one. It's
you're not. Yeah, that is true. You're not the only person with fucking problems, and also, it's like, yes, it's a long flight, but also you're gonna get there at the same time, no matter where you sit.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So yeah, not the asshole.
I agree. What are the people saying?
I think it's overwhelming, not the asshole.
That's good. It's finally one that we all agree on. Consensus. God. I'm a little surprised by that a little bit, but
Yeah, not the asshole. Everyone's saying not the asshole.
good. I think that's been the first one where it's been kind of everybody's in agreement. Is it not?
Yeah, that's the first time. Most of the time that it's split pretty even.
I like when we think they're not the asshole, and then people are like, "No, you're the biggest asshole that's ever walked the earth." Shit.
Damn it.
We tried, man. We tried arguing on your behalf. Don't hire us though. We're not a lawyer.
Not lawyers. They're not doctors. They're not lawyers.
Not a doctor. Oh yeah.
We'd like to thank our friends, the real creature. I almost said it.
Yeah, no,
Bout said it. We'd like to thank our friends, the Real Creature Feature, the Macabre Emporium, the Society of Cryptid Hunters, and of course the Remedial Scholar. That show's okay. Check it out.
Hell yeah. Alrighty. I've had enough. Peace out, bitches.
Tip your bartender.